What's up, YouTube? It's Mike here, back with another video. It's been a while. I would have had a couple of videos out for you by now, but I was filming on a new phone and can't get to any of those videos, unfortunately. So hopefully eventually I'll be able to get those. I don't know if it's my own error trying to get them off, or if there's something actually wrong with the phone or my computer or something. But anyway, I figured what I'd do is update you guys on the tanks down here. Be on the lookout for the B Cooks Exotic Tour Part 2, all reptiles. Awesome video, so that's gonna be coming out very shortly. But for now, let's go through, let's start with the 220. I figured I would give you a quick walk around. I got a huge mess here. I'm just constantly moving stuff around, trying to finish up some construction here, trying to finish these walls. And it's a huge pain because I'm not good at it, so I'm slow. But it is coming along. I'm not good at drywall and spackling or joint compound. But anyway, so a lot has changed down here. Well, let's start here. My background fell down again. That's getting really annoying. I gotta get like a stapler or something. But if you can ignore my terrible background, it's on my list of things to fix. A couple new additions to this. One is the tire track eel, which has blacktail. Actually, half of his body was black a day after moving him in, and I don't know what happened. It looks like it was an injury because now it's healing up pretty well. But he eats a lot. He comes up, he'll eat right out of your hand, which is pretty cool. Everything else in here is doing pretty well. I had to move one of the Hecali over to this quarantine tank. Ignore that. I'll tell you about that in a second. It was getting picked on pretty badly. I'm not sure why it was the center of aggression, but there was multiple fish picking on it, so I moved it out. I never really showed these guys, but I believe they are juvenile golden psalms. I got them really tiny. They were sold to me as convicts, and I didn't get to pick them out, obviously. And yeah, I got 3 of those little guys in, and they got to some good size growing with the convicts, so I threw them in here. So you see them every once in a while. This one looks like it's more out and about. It's a cutie though. He's gonna be awesome, or he or she. So yeah, that's pretty much, no focus here on the camera, sorry. There we go. That's pretty much it for new additions to the 220. It is working right now. Decent little community tank. If you haven't seen this tank before, so we got a black ghost in there. We have a bunch of dwarf giraffe cats. We have lots of different geos, some Viejas and Spillum, gold gourami, little pike cichlid, and a bunch of Synodontis cats. Oh, a few different plecos too. So it's just a big community tank, and it's doing well so far. Like I said, other than that Hecali getting picked on, I think it will recover. So I've seen similar problems with these Hecali before, and it seems to recover pretty well. So that's it for the 220. Man, I'll just do this real quick. I turned the lights on, which the lights, if you know me, I don't really turn the lights on down here on these tanks ever. So that freaks everything out. But there's a bunch of clown loaches, a bunch of convicts, a couple of small plecos in here. Tank's a little messy. It's just a little bit of waste because the sponge filters need to be cleaned. But yeah, everything's doing well. There's constant breeding, obviously, because there's convicts, but they get eaten. So someday I will maybe isolate a couple pairs to try to breed out some convicts a little bit and grow the colony. But for now, it's kind of boring. Like I said, every time I turn the lights on, or like me and the cat is right here rubbing up against the tank, that doesn't help. It just scares the fish. But it's not much to see anyway, just a bunch of convicts and clown loaches. Okay, so back to the quarantine tank. I actually upgraded this quarantine tank to a 60-gallon. It was given to me, so I swapped out my 55 to a 60, and just allows me to have a little bit more water when I need to, but I run it low so I can treat, just costs a little bit less. So you guys saw this guy before. Yep, baby red-tailed catfish. Last thing I need, obviously, but he was given to me and I couldn't really say no, so he's pretty cool. And then there's my sad Heckelei. But again, I think that Heckelei will recover. So I do have a new Ray pup coming in, so this will be quarantine for that. I'm going to divide off the red tail. That was actually in some of the footage that I'm not able to get at. I was going to show how I set this up for my Ray pup that's coming in to quarantine her. But I might not get a chance to do that, or maybe I'll just have to do another one. She's coming in this week, so maybe I'll try to get that done so I can show you guys how I set this up. But that is it for this 60-gallon quarantine tank. Okay, the 180, which has acted as a quarantine tank for me in the past, and it kind of is still. Got a bunch of stuff in here. Got the 3 Florida Gar, and they are doing pretty well. The skinnier one in the back doesn't eat quite as good as these other 2 in the front, but all 3 of them seem to be doing really well. I have my Ocellaris in here. She was not doing well in the 1100 anymore. She's definitely blind, or at least blind in one eye, almost completely blind, something like that. So she was not competing for food well and getting very stressed out. She's doing much better over here. I also have my vulture cat in here, which he was in the 1100 before. He's too big for this tank, I know, but I had to do something. He ate the legs off of a new lungfish that I got, which I haven't shown you guys really yet. So yeah, I had to move him over here. He was just too aggressive with that new lungfish. Also, I have these 2 new iridescent sharks. I took them in for somebody who had them in a small tank, and I'm working on quarantining them before I add them to the 1100 with the others. They both have pretty decent sized tumors on them, so that's why I'm hesitant to just throw them in the 1100. And also, I still haven't got them to eat, and I've had them for weeks, so that worries me a little bit. But yeah, 2 more iridescent sharks. Again, I don't need more iridescent sharks, but here we are. I got them. Moving on, this has changed. So Pinky's tank, again, Pinky gets hosed and he gets stuck getting divided off again. It's like his life story, but he's aggressive. What am I going to do? I also have another aggression problem here. So the pike cichlid and my giant gray gourami both are extremely aggressive with each other and with anything else. So this is like my bully tank now. I am rehoming the pike cichlid for free. I've got somebody coming to get that, so that'll help things, and I'll figure something out long term for the gourami. Obviously, they're just big and aggressive. Anything you put them in with, they're just gonna try to kill. So okay, move over here to the 300. I really need to clean the front glass, so don't judge me. Lots of maintenance needs to be done still, but all the rays are doing well. I did lose one of my silver arowanas, which was bittersweet. I actually wanted to rehome it anyway, but I came down a couple mornings ago and he was dead. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I imagine it was spooking because there was no sign of anything and even chewed on him or anything. But I imagine it's spooking. That's kind of the life story with this tank. A lot of stuff spooks. The good news is he was a very skittish arowana anyway, so he was spooking the others when he would spook. So they have been doing a little bit better without him, and I just worry about aggression. 5 is better than 4 when it comes to arowana. But so far, so good. It's been a few days, and I haven't noticed anything from them. So everything else is doing well. Kind of sad that I lost that silver, but again, I wanted to rehome it, so could have been worse, but I hate to see anything die. All the rays are doing great. A lot of the rays have probably grown since the last time I've really featured them. But yeah, I'm psyched about the growth of, especially like these marble motoros who have caught up to the pearls, kind of even past them. And, oh, the little Leo hybrid pup, he's clearly grown because he was tiny when we put him in here. So happy about that. The Tig still doing, he just does Tig things. He's fat, not the biggest. I wish he had grown a little quicker. I wish he would grow quicker now, but he stays fairly small. I think he's about 9 inches. But hopefully, give him a couple years, he'll grow out. So that is it for the 300. Doing pretty well. A couple fish room things before we get to the 1100. I installed this UV sterilizer, which I filmed a bunch of, and you're never going to get to see it probably. But I installed this like a week or so ago. I made a big investment for a nice UV for the system. I think it's overkill. It's an 80 watt Aqua. I think it's overkill, and I'm running water through it extremely slow compared to what it can handle for still keeping bacterial infections down and whatnot. So it made a difference immediately in water. I noticed right away. It definitely clarified the water. So this was a little bit tricky to set up. No, it's not leaking, but I have a bleeder valve down there so I can drain the whole system for when I need to take the unit out to replace the bulbs. Unfortunately, it was a challenge finding a place to mount this UV unit in a way that I could use it. So I can access these wipers still from behind this lolly column, but I can't pull out the bulbs here, so I have to pull out the whole unit. So that's the reason for the bleeder valve down there. But no, it doesn't leak, it's running well. I just had to come in off of this one return and kind of, do a bypass through it, comes up through and back into the tank. So pretty cool. And, oh, another thing before we get to the 1100 that I've done is I installed a closed loop airline system. And I've got a big air pump, which I did a whole video on installing this loop, and I think I've lost all the footage. So I'll just show you guys here. It's pretty simple. It's 3/4 inch PVC, and I come around the back here, through here, and come back. So my pump is on the other side of the wall, which it's pretty quiet anyway. I've already run it, so I don't think I would have heard it much. But now that it's behind the wall, I'm really not going to hear it much, so I'm happy. So we come in out of the pump, and then we tee off both ways. So I am just waiting on a special bit to thread holes for valves, and then I can have one big air pump running, and hopefully it'll do even better than the 6 that I'm running now, because I don't want to run 6 air pumps anymore. So yeah, unfortunately I won't see that video out, but on to the 1100. I don't know if you guys can notice on camera, but crazy clear adding that UV. And if you followed me for a while, I do try to make sure this tank stays clear. I try to watch too heavy of feedings and manage water quality as best I can. So generally it will stay clear, but I have had a couple blooms over the past year just from increasing bioload, so this will help with that. On the whole UV subject, I figure I will mention that UV is not necessary. It's just a luxury, and it's going to make my life easier. That's one of the, just going to look nicer, and it's going to hopefully help with some different bacterial infections that could possibly come out from an injury or something like that, or if fish are fighting. I'm hoping for it to help with things like that, more than algae, more than bacterial blooms. But you do not need UV, and I can't stress that enough. You do not need to invest the money in a UV unit for your aquarium, but it is a nice luxury if you can afford it. So, not saying that I can necessarily afford it, but made it work anyway. I don't know if much has changed here. I've already shown you where some of the other stuff is. The Ocellaris isn't in here anymore. I'm actually rehoming the largemouth bass with that pike cichlid. So he's just not doing that great in here anyway. He's been stressed out by all the cichlids. So I was kind of bored of him. But he got pretty big, grew him out since he was little. It was a cool addition, but I think he'll do better in a better home. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Rays are doing really good. Oh, and because he looks like a rock, there's a giant, well, he's about 36 to 38 inches lungfish here, which I got a couple weeks ago. And I don't remember if I updated you guys in the irrigation video on him or not. I might have updated you guys, but there he is. He is enormous, so very cool fish. Again, my vulture cat ate his legs off, so that really annoyed me. He ate them off right away, and if you're familiar with lungfish, this is an African lungfish, by the way. If you're familiar with lungfish, they have worm-like legs. So I didn't expect it, but I probably should have. So the vulture cat wasn't leaving him alone even after he ate the legs, so I had to move that vulture cat out. But anyway, everything else is pretty much the same in here. Very clear. Obviously, my wood and rock structure got completely demolished and moved around by the fish. Even before the lungfish, they had already moved all that stuff. So I've kind of given up on that for the time being. But now I'll just give you some good footage of the 1100. Alright guys, well that's basically it for this update video. Again, I'm sorry I lost a bunch of footage. Kinda sucks. Hopefully I can find a way to recover that. But anyway, decent little update video for you, and I figure I'll show you again. Wall is coming along. I've got a bunch of detail and finish work that needs to be done still here, obviously. But I'm so happy that it's at least this far along. Once this wall's finished, can start that next big tank. So that is really what I'm working for. I can't wait to start that thing. I keep looking for excuses to start building it sooner than I should, but I hold myself back. Anyway, it is the best in here. I had to move these plants that I'm trying to save away from their normal spot so I could work on that wall a little bit. So that's it, guys. I thank you guys for watching, as always. And until the next one, I will see you in the next video.